When love turns into control, children stop listening. It drives them to hide, to rebel, and to make choices that hurt everyone. Stay with me and see how Mary's story reveals the true cost of strict parenting. Watch how Mary's story unfolds a lesson every parent needs to hear.
Mary was a beautiful, dark skinned girl with bright, shining eyes. She grew up in a very strict Christian home. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, were strong believers in discipline and holiness. They believed that the world was full of evil, and to protect Mary, they decided she should not have any friends. No friends, not even one. Mary, her father would say, friends will only lead you astray. And Mary would nod, even though deep inside she felt lonely. Every day after school, Mary would come straight home. She wasn't allowed to visit her classmates or invite anyone over. She spent most of her times reading the Bible, helping her mother in the kitchen, and cleaning the house. Sometimes she would sit by her window, looking at the other children, laughing and playing outside. She wanted to join them so badly, but she knew better than to disobey her parents. As Mary grew older, she discovered a dream inside her heart. She wanted to become an actress. She would act in front of a mirror, pretending she was on stage, wearing an imaginary crown, or crying like in a real movie scene. Acting made her feel alive. It made her feel free. One day, she gathered courage and told her parents, Daddy, Mommy, she said with hope in her voice, I want to become an actress. Her father's face darkened immediately. An actress? He roared. Never. No daughter of mine will stand on stage for the world to see her body. Her mother folded her arms and said, You will be a lawyer. That is final. No more talk about acting. Mary's heart broke that night. She cried silently into her pillow, but nobody heard her. When Mary finished high school, she was sent to a university far away from home. She had no choice but to study law, just as her parents wanted. But deep inside her, a fire was burning, a fire for freedom, a fire for her dreams. At home, she had always worn big loose dresses that covered her from neck to feet. They were so voluminous that sometimes she felt like she was drowning inside them. No makeup, no fancy hair, no jewelry. She wasn't even allowed to wear earrings. But when Mary got to the university, everything changed. For the first time in her life, no one was watching her every move. No father to scold her, no mother to remind how a good girl should behave. She saw girls wearing beautiful, colorful dresses, tight skirts, short gowns, high heels, makeup, and Mary wanted it all. At first, she was shy, but slowly she started to change. She bought her first short dress, a red one that barely reached her knees. She wore it to a party on campus. People stared at her, and for the first time, she felt seen. Then she started wearing even shorter dresses. Her hair was always braided beautifully. She started putting on makeup, red lipstick, eyeshadow, fake lashes, and on. At school, Mary joined the School of Art in secret, where she started learning acting. She would go for classes during the day and party at night. Her great in law dropped, but she didn't care. She was living the life she always dreamed of. But at home, nothing had changed. Whenever it was time to go home for holidays, she packed away her short dresses, wiped off her makeup, and wore her big voluminous dresses again. She acted like the perfect daughter her parents thought she was. They smiled and bragged about her to church members. Our Mary is such a good girl, they would say proudly. They had no idea what was really happening. As time went by, rumors started reaching our parents. Some church member who had children at the same university whispered, "We heard Mary goes to nightclub. We heard she wears indecent clothes." Our parents refused to believe it. Not our Mary. Our mother said firmly, "We raised her well." But deep down, a small fear began to grow in her heart. One holiday, Mary was supposed to come home, but she called and said she was too busy with schoolwork. Her parents felt uneasy. "We must go and visit her," her father said. And so one afternoon, they packed some food and gifts and traveled to Mary's university. They wanted to surprise her. When they got to her hostel, they knocked on her door. It was half open. They pushed it gently and entered. What they saw made them freeze on the spot. They were rather surprised. Mary was sitting on a guy's lap, laughing loudly. She was wearing a very tiny black top and very short chin. Her stomach was round. Lo and behold, she was pregnant. The guy she was sitting on had tattoos all over his arms and neck. He looked nothing like the kind of man her parents would ever approve of. Her mother screamed, "Mary!" and fainted, falling heavily to the ground. Her father rushed to her mother's side, trying to wake her up, but Mary just laughed and ignored them. After some minutes, her mother woke up, crying and shaking. They begged Mary to come with them. "Please come home. Let's help you. You don't have to destroy your life," her father pleaded, tears in his eyes. But Mary stood her ground. "No, I am staying with my boyfriend. He loves me. He accepts me for who I am." Her parents were heartbroken. "We love you, Mary," her mother cried. "No, you don't," Mary shouted back. "You only love the idea of me. You never cared about what I wanted. You were only strict. You never showed me love. You locked me up like a prisoner. My boyfriend loves me. He listens to me. He let me be myself. I found love outside because you never gave it to me." Our words pierced their hearts like knives. They realized that all their strictness, all their control had pushed their daughter away instead of protecting her. They left the hostel that day with heavy hearts, weeping as they walked back to their car. They realized too late that love and communication were more powerful than fear and control. Mary eloped with her boyfriend. She never returned home. Her parents spent their days praying and hoping that one day their daughter would come back. But deep inside, they knew they had made a big mistake. Not by raising her in faith, but by raising her in fear instead of love. They learned the hard way that a child's heart needs freedom, trust, and love, not just strict rules. And Mary, she lived her life the way she wanted, but she carried the wound of a childhood without warmth. She often wondered what life could have been if only she found love at home. Being too strict without love can put children away. Children need both guidance and understanding. Freedom with wisdom is better than control with fear. Love your children enough to listen to their dreams. This is just the beginning of Mary's story. Watch out for part 2.